Hey Aries, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive. We're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, any channeled messages that come through, and a little Ayurvedic living to help kind of navigate some of the tension and stressors. Via the tarot, astrology. Oh wait, I already said that. All right, so let's get into it. I hope you're doing well. Super excited to be here with you today. It's been a really interesting Taurus season. We're wrapping Taurus season up. We're about to move into Gemini. We're just coming off of a new moon in Taurus. And thankfully, the energy in the astrology and the collective, things have been kind of quiet. I feel like a lot of the transits are allowing us to really get clear on what we want, where we're at, who and what we're dealing with, and how we're going to situate ourselves accordingly. So we have a better idea of how we want to move forward, i.e. the places, the people, the situations that we're committing to for the next period of time. Taurus energy is earth energy. And so it brings that component of grounding, of stability, of feeling a little bit more dialed into self in the way that as we moved through Aries season, we learn certain things about ourselves, our wants, our needs, and Taurus season allows us to bring it into manifestation. And I feel like Taurus season has been a lot about working out the kinks. We haven't had any planets in retrograde. They do go, Pluto did move into retrograde, but Pluto moved into retrograde a few weeks ago. So it's giving us the opportunity to make those changes. It's all about death and rebirth, transforming, and looking at the harder parts of life, right? Not just this very topical surface value, but actually being able to kind of see the nitty gritty. And especially when it comes to our wants, our needs, our desires for how we are not only showing up in our life, but the life that we're living. So that's also why I like to start the readings off with an energy cleansing, just to set the tone, set the vibe. You can totally skip ahead if it's not your thing. No worries at all. I do put the timing down in the chapters below, so if it's not something you're interested in, you can totally skip ahead. It's a really great practice because it does help cleanse our energy and set intention. Cleanse out those blocks, limitations that we might be coming into, and then really just setting our intention on what messages we want to hear from spirit. It's a great time to do that. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in more of a realignment of self, your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we are aligned in self, when we're strong, grounded, connected with self, that's really where we're manifesting our highest and best, our happiness, our fulfillment. And I would totally love to help support you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fear, doubt, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, got some cinders on me. Frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama Love. All right, Aquarius. Aquarius. Maybe you are dealing with an Aquarius. Maybe you do have an Aquarius in your life. But I'm picking up this energy, Aries, of you I don't know, maybe you're trying to be done and over with a situation. That's the energy I get. Or whether maybe it's done and over, or maybe you're just you feel like you know a situation, you feel like I got this, I have this handled, but it almost feels like it's not true. Sorry, I don't mean that in a mean way, but it has this component of yes, maybe you have topical surface understanding about something, but it's the layers underneath is what I'm picking up. the layers underneath that need to be looked at, that need to be addressed. So you can have a little bit more fluidity and consistency moving forward. I love this, vulnerability in your overarching energy. I think this is important for you because I don't often see a lot of Aries as vulnerable individuals. I think you pride yourself on who you are and what you have up and running and going, etc. And that's amazing. Like, I'm not harping on it. Please hear that. We want to make sure that we're being vulnerable with the right people at the right times. But I almost feel like you haven't really been authentic in the way of like sharing your heart. I'm not calling you inauthentic. It's not the energy that's coming through. It's an energy of protection of yourself. Like, you don't want to screw yourself over. You have a lot that's going on for you. That's good. That's up and running. And I'm sensing a lot of strength and empowerment from your energy as we're doing this reading. Maybe you're trying to stay completely neutral on a subject so you don't have to make any decisions one way or the other. But if you were actually honest with yourself, that might be something that needs to be looked at. Honest with yourself, I think revealing certain truths is what I'm hearing. Maybe even revealing more of an understanding. It's not a bad thing. It's just about like sometimes we need to have those honest come to Jesus moments with ourselves. And that's not always easy, right? Because we get very like locked into whatever our thoughts, our opinions, our judgments are, and have at it. And again, not harping on it. But the way that your energy is coming through this week is it's a lot about maybe dialing that down a little bit, being more of an observer about what's happening in your environment. And I think this actually kind of connects with the surface value of what you're seeing, of what you're experiencing. Looking at it topically makes sense, gives you certain results, but I don't know that that's necessarily the true results. The true reality is maybe what I want to say. This is talking about maintaining the flow. And I think as I'm seeing that for you, I'm hearing that's like important for you. So maybe you're not taking time to look at certain things because you just want to keep everything up and running. But it's also kind of hitting this component where things feel a little bit superficial, or you're only able to go so deep with certain people and situations in your life. And that can be a little bit of a tricky energy, sorry, especially with this goddamn, because this reminds me of the Tower and the Tarot. It's a little bit of this like, shit, I wish I would have dealt with this before, or this is all coming up, or now I'm seeing something very clearly, and like in a way that feels slightly overwhelming. It's overwhelming because it's putting language and understanding to maybe something you've been trying to avoid. And again, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude at all. It's a good clarity. I think it's a clarity that's needed, but I think there comes a lot with this. And that's what's challenging for you. It's like if you acknowledge this thing, then there's like a whole other domino effect that comes with it, right? Like it's not only about like what you think and what you feel, but it's like how it affects your livelihood, the environment around you, people, situations, maybe even your job, etc. Well, what I'll say, because I know this is not a comfortable feeling what I'm talking about, but what I'll say is in Ayurveda, the best thing that we can do is bring awareness, bring understanding to what is going on around us, specifically in our relationships, in the dynamics, because when we have the awareness, when we understand, then we can do something with it. Versus when we stick our head in the sand and just try to avoid, yes, we get by for a certain period and then something pops up that feels a little bit more monumental, or like it got a little bit messier than what it needed to. The messiness is not a bad thing because it's reconnecting you back to yourself. I think sometimes this value of abundance is really important. Like maybe you shouldn't be, sorry, I don't like to tell people what to do. So I just take it or leave it behind. I don't really care, But that value of like, maybe you should be a little bit more grateful for what you do have. Like the plenty in the blocked energy, it reminds me of this desire to just kind of like keep accumulating. It's not accumulation. It's about growth, it's about evolution, and it's about success, which I think are all good. It's also about the means that you're taking to get to those places and what that actually represents in your life. Like, there might be people or situations that really don't authentically align with you or what you want, and maybe there needs to be a little bit more readjustment. Not that, okay, yeah, 100%. So burden, responsibility in your environment. Seeing someone or something through a different lens, a lens of like what they contribute. Maybe not even really, yeah, I mean, with the Nine of Pentacles, this is like you have certain expectations about life and people in your environment and how it should all play out. And I think that's all well and good, but someone's feeling really stressed out. Someone's feeling really stressed out, whether they're the expectations that you're putting on them, or these are things that like maybe they can't even fulfill. Or there's just a lot of responsibility on someone's plate that needs to be talked about, needs to be addressed. And that can be this component of not, like, this feels a little bit wishy-washy. Like when I see your energy, it's a little bit like just kind of being okay to be okay for as long as you can sustain that, essentially. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not harping on it, but I think there's just like more to the story is what I'm seeing. There's more to the story, and there's better opportunity to kind of align with like things you actually do want in their fullness, in their authenticity. I know I keep using that word, but it's like this value of like, this is good and it fills my heart and my soul, because that's really what I see you striving towards. And I also see you wanting to maintain that quote unquote status quo because of that. But it is being a little bit tone deaf, maybe to people and situations around you. Maybe you've chosen things that are like really good for yourself, but not good for your surroundings. And like, again, not that your job is to be responsible for other people and placate their emotions, but I think when we're like in relationship in life, it's good to be aware at how we are showing up in dynamics and what other people might want or need. You're keeping it really tight. Like, you're just not giving a lot this week. It's not a bad thing. Again, I think this is about like you redirecting yourself. Like, what I'm seeing for you is you've had to gain some level of knowledge and information about a situation. Like, it's like maybe you needed to step back and get a clearer perspective on what was actually happening. And that's how I see you walking into this week. But I'm seeing like as things are becoming clearer, more of a reality, you're like, oh my goodness, like this is a little bit of a, even if you don't, it might even be something, because I'm like, it has this energy of like you not expecting something. And when you either find out or when this actually pops up, it is like, wow, I gauged this completely wrong. Or perhaps I wasn't really understanding what someone was going through, what they were trying to like communicate to me. Maybe communication wasn't the best. Maybe you didn't realize how much someone or something was willing to contribute. Or like it just put you in a place where you did have to separate yourself for some reason. And this just might be about your own peace of mind, right? Like sometimes we do need to break apart from people so we can get really clear. And then when we do come back to the drawing board, when we do come back, connect with relationships, with dynamics, then we have to actually be a little bit more authentic and vulnerable, or we have the opportunity to be. I think this is a little bit hard for you for some reason. I don't know why. You're very protective of your energy this week. And again, that's perhaps where this plenty comes into play. Like maybe you're being a little bit limited and restrictive. The ancestor was flipped over. So this is the Hierophant, talking about family, home, tradition, places that we do certain things, not because we want to, but because it's like, that's what we should be doing type vibe. And I feel like you've kept that up and running, but then there's also other things that are playing out that you just like don't want to deal with. Like it's almost like you're fine to do what you need to do to get by. Like it's not a skating by. It's like I'm going to do I'm going to do my daily regime, keep my life up and running, support whoever I need to support, contribute where I need to contribute. But you're also being very conscious of your own energy. It does look like someone, or you're feeling really conflicted about someone or something. Maybe even like what their contribution is. Like I feel like maybe you're looking at this person or situation like you're giving a lot more, and it's hard for them to with this 10 of Wands. Like I don't think this is an easy situation for something to deal with. But I feel like there has been a lot of a disconnect, and it looks like you're reconnecting this week, or towards the end of the week, towards next week, that kind of vibe, because it has this energy of like, I don't really like what someone's doing, and so I'm going to separate myself. I'm going to separate my energy. And this is hard for someone. It's actually like, I feel like you're making someone think about what they're doing, about how they're showing up in a certain situation. And it might be uncomfortable for them, and it might also be hard for you to do. Like you might have given them a lot of hall passes, or this has been going on for a hot minute, a back and forth energy. But now you're in this place of like, okay, if you're going to choose X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to do this for me. And sometimes we do have to withdraw our energy, our friendship, our empathy, our understanding, so other people can kind of get their shit in order. And that's exactly what this looks like. I think this is not an easy thing for whomever, whatever is going through this. And I do think there are components of this that maybe you're not seeing right off the bat. Again, not to harp on you at all. It's more this energy of just like, shit, I didn't know that. Or when you get information, it makes a little bit more sense and you can be more empathetic. I think you have very different ideas about how this needs to play out. And that might be part of the challenge. Because like this feels a little limiting. Like someone wants the situation to look a certain way, and you've actually evolved beyond that, and you're ready to do some new things. And as you're ready to do new things, it's challenging the old dynamic. And you're not afraid to. Like, I feel like this is stuff that you're like, okay, yes, sometimes craziness pops up and we have to deal with it, etc. But it doesn't necessarily limit the options or the ability to kind of transition, transform, and move forward. And I feel like that's where your main focus is. And I think like what I see you doing is really holding fast to what you think, what you feel, what you believe this week. And it's getting you good results. I'm not going to lie, Aries. Like it's actually, whether or not this person, situation, whatever you're dealing with, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, it's actually like making it easier for you in the long run, the crow and dogwood intelligence. So I just see you as being like way more understanding about a situation than maybe even someone thinks you are. Like you actually kind of see something or someone very clearly, and they don't know that, but you do, right? So what I like is it's giving you this level of intelligence, wisdom, information, so you can readjust or figure out what the best ways are to move forward. I think it's also kind of why you've pulled back your energy, because someone's very used to that being there for them, and then also like kind of penalizes you for it is what it comes through as. And so the eel and the iris is giving you this element of safety, maybe even safety that you haven't given yourself in the past, or, you know, I don't know, like just, yeah, like giving someone too much loyalty. Loyalty is not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, but it can also be something that like, if we're not mindful of, it can cause a lot of detriment. And that goes back to like the very beginning of this reading, right? Where it's like, you're trying to just like move through something and not get too deep, but getting deeper is actually revealing some of the hidden truths about what's actually happening in the dynamic. And this is stuff that like, you already know. You might not be admitting it to yourself. You might have to take that moment of like, okay, I'm going to like and sit and just be quiet, be still, meditate, whatever you have to do to kind of bring in that awareness. And as soon as it hits you, it's like, that's exactly what it is. Which, again, it's reconnecting you to yourself with the compass. Because I think a lot of the surface answers aren't really doing you any good present day, right? Like there might be a lot of responses that you could take and nothing you've done or whatever, like whatever's kind of brought you to this point where you feel like you have to protect your energy or like you can't give someone too much of yourself. It's because of what you're picking up. And I think that that's exactly where Spirit's asking you to be a little bit more authentic and vulnerable with yourself, honest about what and who is like playing out in your life. Again, not in a way to cause controversy. I don't think you're afraid of that with this Five of Wands. I think that there are some things that definitely need to be talked about, that definitely need to be addressed. And I do see you willing, but you need someone to do something before it's able to move on. And I feel like whatever route you're taking this week, it's helping push it in that direction. And with the wheel, 9 of Cups, this is talking about like you're actually getting the change and the success that you need. It's working out in your favor. It's giving you, like I said, it's giving you more clarity and understanding about who and what you can trust, about how much you can invest or divulge into a person, into a dynamic, about how you show up, like where your loyalties lie and where those adjustments need to be made accordingly, which can be a little bit tricky, but I feel like that is some of this feeling of lack or not enough. Like I was saying in the very beginning, like appreciating what you do have, the good that you do have is going to make you feel way more abundant. I think that, and I'm saying that on the heels of this dynamic working out. Like I feel like you don't feel that way because of what this situation's producing. But as you hold your boundaries, as you stand your ground, it's actually going to give you more of what you do want. And so that's where we're seeing the silver lining. That's where we're seeing like a little bit of the reprieve. It might be a little heavy throughout the week, but I feel like you're going to see the results of your efforts, of your labor towards the end of the week. So thank you so much for your time, energy, always, Aries. I super appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, sharing a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, I'm sending the love and blessings back your way.